Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Blake Hortzman is not ready to settle his feud with Nick Viall.
I wish I knew. I wish I knew the answer to that. The dude just does not like me, and for whatever reason, it is what it is.
Plus, we finally get our first look at Bachelor in Paradise as the cast is revealed.
Kira played with my nipples.
I can't say I've gotten a girl this wet. This is new.
And Peter Weber fuels Kelley Flanagan reunion rumors. Hannah Ann Sluice finally addresses the Bachelorette theories, and Michelle is headed to LA. Plus, it's Men Tell All, and Nate finally addresses those rumors. We got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garvald here with Us Weekly Deputy Editor Sarah Heron. And Sarah, we made it to Men Tell All. We are, inching towards the finish line of this season.
We made it through a 2-hour-long infomercial for cruises and Bachelor Happy Hour and the movie Bros and Bachelor in Paradise and basically anything but resolving drama from the season.
Right. Seriously, I know we're going to get into it, but did Logan have COVID? That is my question.
Did Logan have COVID? Why did Chris and Hayden, who were the only other people who had something to answer to, not show up?
Yeah.
I don't know. There was just Gabby and Rachel, I think, had less screen time than Billy Eichner.
It's so true. So true. Hopefully the meatball sauce got out of Billy Eichner's white pants, but we'll get into that later. But let's see what you guys had to say about last week's show.
Okay, this was Catherine, and she was talking about how we were mentioning that Dean Ungler wasn't at Wells Adams and Sarah Hyland's wedding. And she said Dean is off the grid in Pakistan for 6 weeks.
Well, thank you for answering that question for us, Catherine. We appreciate it.
I have more Kaylin and Dean updates later on. So
okay, interesting. All right. Lade said Tina was acting a script of how to get far on the Bachelorette. I don't like him. Wow.
Damn.
I feel like
I don't know about that.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't know about that. I feel like Tino's acting more like jealous boyfriend than wants to win the Bachelorette. But what do you think?
I agree with you. I feel like he's not there for the wrong reasons. I genuinely feel like Tino has a connection with Rachel, but I think he's getting too much in his head, and this is really going to mess with him. But can't wait for Fantasy Suites. It's going to be so good. But I also can't wait for Bachelor in Paradise. We finally got our first look at the trailer during Men Tell All. It looks great. And we got our cast. So Logan and Jacob, obviously from Gabby and Rachel season, they will be joined by Michelle Young's former suitors, Casey, Romeo, and Brandon. Good to see Brandon back. Single dad Michael A., Andrew, Spencer, and Justin Glaze are all headed to the beach for Clayton's season. Haley, Shanae, and Genevieve, who says that she will bring it. And based on the trailer, it seems like she does. Clayton's suitors make up the majority of the cast, with Hunter, Sierra, Kira, Jill, Serena, and Teddy all kind of rounding out the cast. And they're going to be joined by Brittany from Matt's season and Lace Morris making her big return. What do you think of this cast so far?
I mean, it's kind of random, but that's what Paradise is. We have a lot to choose from, as we have in the last couple of years. I've had so many seasons of this show kind of happen at once. The guys or the girls from Clayton's season, I don't remember half of them.
That was the problem with the trailer. I'm I don't remember these people.
But obviously Shanae, hey girl, hey, I knew you were going to be there at the thing with Shanae and Jacob / Tarzan hooking up. I was okay, this is what we like. Definitely some messy people. I think the Lace obviously is the biggest. Oh my God. And for me, Victoria Fuller.
Yes, Victoria Fuller.
So for those of you who don't remember Victoria F, she was on Peter Weber's season, which a lot of Peter's girls skipped Paradise last time around. So it's interesting that Victoria F has decided to come back, which she's told Jesse Palmer, I'm 28, nothing else is working. And while on Peter's season, she was kind of known for being the girl who hooked up with Chase Rice before the season aired. Then she had this whole quarantine fling with Chris Soules, which I was obsessed with. And I would do anything for Farmer Chris to show up on the frickin' beach in Paradise and cause some sort of just drama. But Victoria F, I'm fascinated by her, and I am very excited to see her back.
You think Chris Soules would ever, step foot on the beach?
I'm sure they've asked him.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. I'm sure.
I don't remember. I don't know how old he is. I feel like he might be at the point where he's No, but then you see, like a Chris Bukowski who's now dating. They didn't meet on Paradise, Anna Redmond, and who's younger than him, and they seem like head over heels in love in Chicago. And he dated Victoria F. So I don't blame Chris Soules if he's avoiding Bachelor in Paradise, but like I would really like it if he showed up.
Oh, I totally would too. I mean, we don't have, at least not yet. They haven't, this is not the full cast. We're going to have more people kind of coming in throughout the weeks, but we don't have that like Becca Kufrin from last season yet. We don't have that big Bachelor draw yet. I wonder if that's even going to happen, because we know that Peter Weber was going to go. Then, he decided not to because contracts didn't work out, and who knows if he's back together with Kelley. But yeah, interesting.
I think it's the cast is like one of those things where you want the big names and stuff, but then a lot of times they overshadow.
That's true.
Like, not that people love Grocery Store Joe, people love Becca, but like they kind of became like almost like such a big part of it. And this is like a lot of people who we have to be reintroduced. Like, it'll be interesting. I feel like sometimes the best connections come from the most random people, like the couples that ended up together. You don't always expect it, especially with the guys. It's like your Tanner Tolbert, your Dylan, like guys who didn't really have moments on their own season kind of thrive in Paradise. So I'm here for it. ABC usually knows what they're doing when it comes to casting. I also think conspiracy theory that Sally, the girl who like quit Clayton season, might be there, because
that's right.
I watched the promo a bunch of times and it sounds like they're saying it's Sally's vibrator.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
And that's what my transcriber told me when I played the video for my transcriber so I could write up the video. It said Sally, but there's no confirmation of that. So that's my conspiracy theory, and I would love to see Sally.
Oh my God, I would love
the girl
to
who called
see
off her
Sally.
wedding.
Oh my God, yes. She only got a few minutes of screen time, but left a lasting impression. So maybe we'll see.
So fingers crossed that my transcriber, it wasn't a typo. But you did mention Peter Weber, who we will not be seeing on the beaches of Paradise. He previously said it was contract reasons, which I'm sure is part of it. But now these rumors of him and Kelley are continuing to swirl. Obviously, earlier this month, we saw them at a Cubs game together. And now he's all up in her comment section. And Kelley posted this like hot photo of herself. He liked it. And then a fan commented that they were having impure thoughts about this hottie. And Peter responded, same. And then he liked a comment about how happy Bachelor Nation is that they found their way back to each other. What do we think this means?
I mean, I think they're getting back together. I mean, based on this, right?
Yeah, I mean, Peter's like didn't want to comment on this. I don't think was so thrilled when Kelley like did a lot of press about their breakup and was pretty candid, whereas he kind of has always, which is something interesting about Peter, like taking the high road in all sense of the word. Like when he's asked a lot of invasive questions about his past relationships, about being the Bachelor, about Kelley, about Hannah Brown, and he's always pretty much just gone with like something nice to say and like it's not going to serve me if I say anything wrong. But in that being said, why would he be stirring the pot with the press here if there wasn't a reason to?
There has to be. I mean, I can't see it any other way. First of all, I never thought that this was going to happen. We talked about this last week. If you had asked me if Kelley and Peter were going to get back together, I'd say there was 100% chance no. But I don't know. Like you said last
Kelley
week,
told me that. So what's happening?
She's pretty much said like this was a messy, bad breakup. They really didn't speak to one another after everything went down, and he was not marriage material. But maybe he turned some things around and I don't know, got serious, I guess.
Maybe he got it out of his system. Yeah. He said, listen, I was coming off the show. I wanted to party. I had recognition. Now, like, I'm a pilot again. Sure. I fly United. Like we can get you into the Sky Club.
Totally. The dust has settled. So I don't know.
I'm sure it's something though, because I don't think he'd be up in the comments for no reason.
No, definitely not. Well, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe they'll, do like a podcast together and kind of reveal the news, which I can kind of see happening. So Michelle Young, this was interesting. She announced that she is moving from Minnesota to Los Angeles 2 months after her split from Nate. She said on her podcast, for those of you who don't know, I've decided to step outside of the classroom for this next year. It's a decision that I would have made whether I would have had the Bachelorette role or not. And I'm going to be spending a little more time in LA. Like we said, this comes shortly after Nate announced that he was moving to Los Angeles. So interesting timing. Why do you think she's moving to LA? I mean, there's definitely some, rumors floating about as like, some TV opportunities maybe. So who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people were like, oh, Dancing with the Stars. Obviously that's ABC. That's a natural thing. I tried to dig into that. I haven't gotten any confirmation on if that's true. That cast will be announced soon, so we'll know. But I would have to imagine it's some sort of TV opportunity because, or even like more Bachelor happy hour in person opportunities.
Yeah,
they were
that's
at the
true.
Men Tell All she was with Becca there.
Right.
I feel like that it has to be work related.
Oh.
But I don't know. I also like, I know she's such a like teaching fatigue, but like, would you have stepped out of the classroom if you were the Bachelorette? What would you be doing?
Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens with Michelle. Hopefully we'll see her on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, I'm into it. And you know what? I also hope to see her and Nate running into each other and seeing sightings on Bachelor Nation Scoop and all those things, because that's what I like. I like mess.
Love it.
Speaking of mess, it has been 2 years since Hannah Ann was spotted on the set of season 16 of The Bachelorette. This was the Claire Tayshia season. And when we heard that Claire had quit or locked herself in the bathroom or something with Dale, we didn't know. And we had heard Tayshia was called in, but then we saw Wells, we saw Hannah Ann, we saw all these people on set of the show in Palm Springs. And it's been 2 years, but last month, all this like stuff came up that wasn't Hannah Ann actually in the golf cart, in that red tank top, wearing that black mask, because Katie Thurston was like, the hottest tea I have is that you guys think you know who this is and it makes me laugh. And then Claire Crawley was like, I was right there. I know who it is. And Hannah Ann went on Clickbait, the show she was a host of for about 5 minutes, and said, that was me. The funny part is I don't care. No one else cares. I think a few people actually care. It's just not a big deal. No one has to believe me. But if that's how someone wants to use their spare time, go for it. I just thought it was funny because no one knows the real reason I was there. But the best part is people think they know, but they, whatever. She's like, it was me. Why are we talking about this? A little shade with it. If that's how you want to use your spare time, sluskate.
Why is this like a big deal? I don't understand this.
Because basically like when Katie said that, Bachelorette, which is a wild environment, did their sleuthing skills and they found a producer that has like similar birthmarks to Hannah Ann and like similar hair and caused this whole conspiracy theory. And I think it was just fun to like be like, everyone likes to always assume the worst in the show. And like, I wasn't in Palm Springs, I don't know, but Us Weekly was the one who got the photos of Hannah Ann like leaked to us. So I was pretty confident that it was Hannah Ann then and now. And like, I also don't think she would have volunteered to go on Clickbait to like confirm it was her if it wasn't. And there would have been something in a contract. Like, I'm sure it was Hannah Ann. I don't know what Claire and Katie are doing.
I don't know. This is so strange to me. Like,
I know.
It's so strange. All right. Well, let's move on to our Bachelor Nation talk. And I briefly caught up with Blake Hortzman on the carpet for the VMAs. He talked a little bit about this season of the show, if he reached out to Becca and Thomas following their engagement, and what is going on with his feud with Nick Viall. Take a look. What are you thinking about this season of The Bachelorettes?
So I haven't watched a ton of it. It's been great. I mean, the double Bachelorette thing is great. You know what I mean? So that's pretty exciting and something different and unique. But I haven't watched it a ton, but I know Gabby and Rachel, so I'm happy for them. And it sounds like there's a happy ending. Cross our fingers, we'll see. Yeah.
Do you still want to be as involved as Bachelor Nation? I know you kind of took a little bit of a step back.
Yeah, I've definitely taken a step back from Bachelor Nation. You know, I just think there's just so much going on right now in reality TV and everything. And I think one of the coolest things about Bachelor Nation, like I'm grateful for the experience, for the platform and everything, but once you're able to kind of break away and do your own thing, that's a big moment. And I think I've been able to do that, which is pretty exciting.
Have you talked to Becca since she got engaged?
I haven't actually. You know, I sent them like a congrats text and DMs and things like that, but I haven't talked to them in a long time. So I'm really happy for them though.
Yeah. Do you ever think that she and Thomas would hit it off?
No, it's wild, right? I mean, once I saw them together, because I saw them together, they came to one of my DJ shows not long out, like a month after Paradise. And I was like, I was like, yeah, I saw it definitely at that point. Yeah, exactly.
You and Nick Viall have gone back and forth on social media. What would it take for the two? Would you ever sit down with him and kind of hash this out?
No, honestly, at this point, I'm past trying to work it out. I've tried it multiple times, but it's impossible with him. So,
why do you think that is?
I honestly don't. I wish I knew. I wish I knew the answer to that. The dude just does not like me, and for whatever reason, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Were you surprised that he or Katie blocked his number?
No, I haven't blocked too. So no, there are multiple people. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
Have you tried to reach out
It is
to
what it
you?
is. No. At this point, like I said, it's been years. It's like I just given up at this point. So
I love how he has no interest in settling this feud with Nick at all.
I know. He literally laughs.
He
it's
did.
just like, that is such a weird dynamic. It's dark. I feel like there's so much like animosity for both of them as much as they both try to pretend they don't care. Like they both care and they both actively dislike each other.
Totally. I love it. I live for it. Like you said, I love the mess. All right, let's break down this week's episode. We kicked it off with Aven's hometown. Do we think that, he has a shot? They seem to be like falling in love.
Yeah, I like Aven. I think he's a really good guy. I think it was really hard for me as a viewer to get back into like hometowns the way they did it like this. I love Salem, Massachusetts. I thought Aven's parents were interesting. There was so much dynamic, like an interesting dynamic there of like they haven't seen each other. We thought they were going to be hard on her. They really weren't. Like there was promise. And I think if that aired with the other ones, I would have been very into it, but it was just hard for me to care. Yeah. But I think Aven's a good guy, and I think Rachel definitely likes him. It's just also comes back down to like, it's not Tino.
Not Tino. Yeah, no, totally. And then they like didn't show us the rose ceremony. Not like we needed to see it, but like everybody's moving.
That was an absolute disgrace to the franchise to see the rose ceremony. I get it. Everyone got a rose. That's fine. But like, you still could have showed us them even having that conversation versus like Jesse Palmer just saying that, especially given the content they gave us the episode. Right. And go to abc.com to watch the rose ceremony. The rose ceremony is on the house that this is built on. I'm mad.
I was like, it could have cut into, I'm sorry, I love you, Billy Eichner, but it could have cut into that. I know that they were probably paying good money to get that spot, but still.
I want to see that movie. I love Billy Eichner. I love Luke McFarland. He's a Hallmark Channel staple. He's so cute. I'm so happy for, the LGBTQ community. I'm going to see this movie to support and because I just like the movies and I like both of those people. But like hosting a date on the show sponsored is one thing, but taking up 20 minutes of the men tell all is just too far for me.
Too far for me. I totally agree with you. Well, let's get into some of the revelations. Logan was in the hot seat. Like I said before, they still never really brought up why he left. I mean, the whole COVID situation, things like that. It's just so weird to me. This whole situation is very strange.
I think the whole point of Logan being there was to set up his Paradise arc and to kind of give him a chance to respond to the backlash more of him like switching from Rachel to Gabby. Gabby forgave him. It was like Rachel forgave, like everyone kind of forgave each other. So that was like nice. And I guess the closure they thought we needed, but no, the closure we needed is like, how long did Logan like have COVID for? Like, did anyone else on the boat feel concerned? And like, what did he have any lingering symptoms? Like, how long did he have to? How many tests did he have to take before he got to Mexico? Like, I had COVID questions.
Did Gabby say goodbye to him, or did they just, like, how did this end? I really need answers to that one, but hopefully we'll get them. Like you said, I don't think we will either. I think that like if we get, I don't know, maybe we'll get a chance to talk to him before Paradise. Who knows? But we'll have to wait and see. But yes, definitely excited for him to be back on Paradise. What did you think of Nate owning up to, his rumors? Do you think that like that kind of set the record straight? Is there more that you wanted him to say?
I think that they want Nate to be the Bachelor. Yeah, I think there's a reason he, was in the green suit. They had one of the other guys vouch for what a great guy Nate is. Gabby vouched for what a great guy Nate is. I'm not doubting that those aren't their experiences with Nate. But I'm also not doubting that this girl who dated him for 18 months has a right to be like, why the hell didn't you tell me you had a daughter? Mm-hmm. I'm not divorced. I'm not a single father. I don't know what that's like, but it felt a little bit of a cop-out to me to be like, I went through this really messy divorce and I wasn't ready. That's fine. But for 18 months, not a mention, no introduction. Fine. I get it.
Yeah.
You want to protect your daughter. Not telling this girl she exists isn't being a dad such a huge part of your identity. Why were you okay telling Gabby? And you're okay with being Gabby's boyfriend, but when you're dating two other girls, like I don't know, it didn't ring true to me. And people might be mad about that, but it didn't work.
And I agree with you. And he was ready to bring Gabby home to meet her after 3 weeks and probably a total of 20 minutes of a conversation, maybe a little bit more, maybe an hour-long conversation in total, but you're ready to bring her home to meet her with cameras and, I don't know.
And I thought it was interesting when the season first premiered and Nate talked about being a dad, I went to his Instagram and there was no pictures of his daughter. And I was like, oh, like he doesn't want this. And then the second, all the stuff comes out, now there's pictures of his daughter on Instagram. And it's like, oh, look at cute single dad Nate. I don't know. It's phony to me. I don't like it. I'm sure Nate's a decent guy. I don't think he did anything technically wrong. And I don't like two timing is what they're calling it. Like he dated two girls at once. If he was casually dating them, that's fine. But everyone has to be aware of the situation. And he pretty much confirmed that they weren't. And he was like, yeah, I didn't do well. Like they're like, I can do better. And I did better with Gabby. And it's like, what?
Yeah, what? I don't know. Suspect, very suspect. I'm sure, like you said, a lot of people are gonna have a lot to say about this in the comments. So I'd love to know what everybody's thoughts.
Yeah.
Please tell us. And like you said earlier, Hayden, no show. Like, is that allowed? I feel like it should be in their contracts that they need to show up to Men Tell All.
I definitely have asked them this before because I don't remember if I spoke to someone who either didn't show up or like had a controversial person didn't show up, and they were kind of like, they can't make you. They definitely like want you to be there, but it's not in your contract, which is really interesting. But then you have people like Roby who like dye their hair to be like Draco Malfoy and like use it to get their 15 minutes. I feel like it usually only benefits to go, but that's if you want like any sort of Bachelor influencer career. If you want to literally go off the grid, maybe don't show up. But the any other way, it's your way back in. It's your like redemption arc, because all of these people, besides the ones they showed up, like apologize and come off decently. The only ones they talked crap about were the guys who didn't go.
Yeah, no, that's true. You're right. I mean, because in a week from now, we're not going to remember Hayden from this season. If he, and if he showed up, then maybe he would have been on Paradise, things like that. Maybe he just wanted to kind of wash his hands of this and, go back to his dog. Fine. Do your thing. But yeah, it would have been nice to see what he had to say. And, it was a big storyline this season, but his thing. Mario felt like Gabby did him wrong. That was interesting. Did you understand his point though, like saying like, okay, well, Logan switched sides, why was it not okay for me to explore both relationships?
I did understand his point, but I think what Gabby was saying without saying it was, well, I just actually wasn't that into you at the end of the day, and I use that as a way to like get rid of you, which I feel like is justified, because as the lead, like you got to come up with ways to end these relationships. So I feel like it was more that, and I definitely think for Mario it probably was like really frustrating or like jarring to like get the first impression rose and know what that usually means on this show, and then like be associated with Gabby, but then talk to Rachel probably because he thought he was supposed to, and then would be like, oh, she's like, I don't think Mario did anything wrong. I just think neither of them were that into him, and he thought maybe they both were. Right.
No, totally. I agree with you. Was there anything else that really stood out to you?
Not really. I mean, I feel like I really like Spencer. I'm kind of sad he's not going to be on the beach. I feel like him over a Logan or a Jacob could have been interesting. The Bachelor in Paradise trailer sucked me in. I also got a free cruise sent to me from this cruise line, so I can't hate on that moment. I don't know where I'm going, but I did get one.
Oh my God, Sarah, that's amazing.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what the red tape is. I'm sure there's like more you have to pay for than they're letting on, but I have to say Virgin Cruise Line's very generous. I did get one in the mail a few weeks ago, so that's
Can I be your +1?
Yeah, Christina, maybe we go like boots on the ground. Like, is this where Logan got COVID? Like, are there any remnants?
I love that. That's so fun. That's great.
It's very funny, very interesting surprise. So then when they did that, I was like, oh, this cruise line is like banking on this promo.
Yeah.
But overall, like some people were like blaming Jesse Palmer versus like a Chris Harrison. I don't think it's that. I think they just did too much. Like if you're gonna do plugs, they even plugged like the new season of the Kardashians, which again, like I'll be watching, but not right now.
No, it was a lot going on there. Like ABC, wanted some sponsors to pay for this Men Tell All, I guess. And they did. I guess it was an expensive season. They had to pay some bills.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but then we got our teaser for Fantasy Suites. It looks like it's going to be really dramatic, of course, which is not surprising. I feel like Jason and Zach both kind of bow out based on what we see. But, I think then we only have like 2 more weeks left, I think, right?
So the next 2 weeks will be Fantasy Suite episodes. Okay. They're splitting, for everything I heard, they're splitting up into 2.
Okay.
So we have 4 more episodes. So there'll be 2 Fantasy Suites. The last, or maybe, maybe 3. Yeah, 2 Fantasy Suites, and then the finale, like big night, and then Paradise is the 27th. All right. So packed September.
Almost there. Well, speaking of Paradise, let's check in on our Bachelor Nation social media. Mine goes to Michael A. He took to Instagram stories to tell us why he decided to pack his bags, head to Mexico. He said it was only 3 weeks away from his kids, so it wasn't that long of a time, and that's why he decided to do it. I'm excited to see him back on the beach. I really hope he finds love.
I feel like I got spoiled on Michael A, and I won't say it on here because I don't want to whatever, but I'm very intrigued by his journey, if it's true. And it is interesting that it's only 3 weeks. Because looks like in the promo we're getting a lot of engagements.
Right.
But speaking of engagements, Kaylin Miller-Keys, you guys, who you know, Kaylin and Dean, I haven't been shy about questioning like the rest of the world. But a couple weeks ago on Help I Suck at Dating, his podcast with Jared, he said this comment like, if I'm buying Kaylin a ring, she should buy me a truck.
Uh-huh. Oh.
And then yesterday she posted that she was at the car dealership and was like, if you listen to Help I Suck at Dating, you know I picked something up special for Dean.
Wow. Interesting.
So like, is this a fair trade? Like, I get it. Like, it is like an antiquated thing of like the guy has to buy the ring. It's expensive. And we know
Right.
Dean doesn't like tradition. He hates marriage. She's made that very clear. But like, why don't they just split the cost of the ring versus like buy me a truck for a ring? Feels like an
Right.
icky exchange to me.
Seems like a really icky exchange. Like, what do you do if you break up? Does Kaylin get the truck back and Dean gets the ring? Like, it's interesting, right?
Or to like, is that like also his collateral? He's like, well,
Yes.
even if we break up, like I get my truck. Like that's all I
Yeah.
care about. Like, I don't know, you guys. I sometimes when I talk to her and him, honestly, like I'm like, oh, like we give them a bad rap. Like it's right hearing things what he said in print. But then I'm like, no, this is weird.
It's so weird. It's so weird. But hey, if it works for them, more power to it. But tread lightly.
Yeah, I
All
agree.
right. All right. Well, that is it for this week's episode of Here for the Right Reasons. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we will see you guys next week for the first round of Fantasy Suites. Bye, guys.
Bye.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.